do you have a master's degree? Do you have a PhD degree? Do you have a bachelor's degree with at least 5 years work experience post-graduation? If you have any of these, or you're at least an athlete, then today's video is for you. You need to sit down and watch this video till the very end. Hello there, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today? Trust that you're doing great. Do you know that you don't necessarily need to come into the United States through a study route? You don't need to come for admissions, for further masters, or for PhD. No, those are not the only routes. I've discussed so many routes that are available out there for you to take advantage of. I've already shared some of them before on my channel. I'll link them again in today's video so that you can go and watch and see which one applies to you. The people that I'm talking about today, people that have master's degree already, PhD degree, and athletes, even bachelor's degree, today's video is for you. You can come into the United States to work and live permanently, not just alone, but with your family member. Do you know that in as little as 5 years, you'll be on your way for citizenship? You'll be eligible to apply for citizenship of the United States of America. Ensure that you watch this video to the very end, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, what are you guys waiting for? Subscribe to my channel. Let the numbers grow. More people on YouTube can get to watch us as well. Ensure that anytime you watch a video, you always like the video. That is your own way of supporting and encouraging me to keep coming here to show my face and giving you all this information that I am giving you. And if you love my face as well, please, why not introduce yourself in the comment section. So the visa I will be sharing with you today is a method of obtaining green card that allows you to come into the United States to work and live with your family. We know that green card is like permanent residence, and with permanent residency you are allowed to live and work in the United States, and after 5 years you are qualified to apply for citizenship. With this route, you don't need an employer to file for you. You only need to prove some things, submit a convincing application, and wait for your approval. And with that, you'll be on your way into the United States if you are not already in the United States, because you can apply from outside the United States and within the United States. This visa route that we'll be discussing today is the NIW program, that is the National Interest Waiver program. It is a subsection of the EB2 visa category. EB2 is employment-based immigration second preference, and under EB2 you usually require an employer to file this type of green card for you, and they will need to obtain labor certification showing that they couldn't find a qualified US worker to take up the role for which you are being hired, which has necessitated them filing the green card process for you. But with the NIW, you will need to show that you are engaged in work that is of beneficial importance to the United States, and therefore, the United States should set aside the labor certification and employment requirements for you to work and live in the United States. You have to show that you have an advanced degree, like master's, PhD. That's why I asked those questions earlier. Or show exceptional ability. Now, how do you show either of these? What are the requirements? All of those we will delve into very shortly, but generally this is what the National Interest Waiver program is for. So if you have a master's degree, work experience, you're an athlete, there are different things that you need to know. The beautiful thing about this is that you can apply for this interest waiver program from within the US and outside US. So if you're in Nigeria, in any country in Africa, or if you are currently within the US and you're under another visa category that is not permanent, you can switch to the NIW program. Then you don't need an employer to file for you, like unlike the L1 or L2. With L1 or L2, you need a sponsor, an employer that has a branch office in the United States to sponsor you to come into the United States. But with NIW, you can totally sponsor yourself. Approval rate is usually between like 81% to 93%. If you're able to submit a good application, a convincing application, which I would be telling you how to, you would definitely have a high chance of being accepted. With your approval, you can then apply for an adjustment of status to get your green card. Don't worry, I'll be breaking all of this down very shortly in this video. I just wanted you to have a very good overview of everything, and now let's delve into it step by step. One thing you should know about this program is that it's takes time. However, there is good news. In October of 2020, the United States Congress approved for premium processing that is done on other visa categories to be extended also to the National Interest Waiver Program, and implementation of this began in October 2022. So if you are considering applying for this program from now, you can pay a premium processing fee of $2,500 to have your process expedited. Another beautiful thing about this program is that you don't need to show extraordinary ability like you would need to do with your EB1. We'll discuss that in another video. So there's a difference between extraordinary ability and exceptional ability that is required for this NIW. Now let's look at the requirements for National Interest Waiver Program. Now, the requirements for this National Interest Waiver Program are quite straightforward, and I've mentioned them briefly before. There are two things. You either have an advanced degree, which you can prove with a master's degree, a PhD degree, or if you don't have any of those, you can have a bachelor's minimum and add it to your 5 years post-graduation work experience. If you can have any of these things, you would have met the requirements for advanced degree. If you don't have any of these, the other category or ways you can meet this requirement is to have exceptional ability, and the law has specifically mentioned how to show that you have exceptional ability. There are 3 of 6 criteria that you need to meet. You need to have exceptional ability like sciences, arts, or business. It can be any of these 3, but now you need to meet 3, at least 3 of these 6 things that I'm going to mention, of these 6 criteria I'm going to mention now. So number 1, you need to show an official record that shows that you have a degree, a diploma, a certificate, or similar award from a college, university, school, or other institution of learning relating to your area of exceptional ability. So majorly, it's still saying that you should have a degree. You can have a degree, diploma, any certificate that shows that the area of exceptional ability. So if you have said you are a doctor, you are a nurse, you are a teacher, you are an accountant, you are a lawyer, have a certificate showing or proving this. That's number 1 criteria. Number 2 criteria is evidence in the form of letters from current or former employers. So you should have evidence in the form of letters from current or former employers showing that you have at least 10 years of full-time experience in the occupation that you are being sought. Say you have employer in United States that is showing interest in employing you. It doesn't mean that they have to sponsor you. They might show interest that, they are interested in having you come over to work for them in the United States, and you want to sponsor yourself. So you should have a letter from your current or former employer showing that you have at least 10 years of work experience. So you need to prove at least 10 years of work experience. Don't forget that these 6 criteria I'm mentioning now, you need to meet at least 3 of them. Any 3 of them will suffice. The third one is that you should have a license to practice the profession or certification for your profession. If you're a doctor, have a license to practice your profession. If you're a lawyer, have a license to practice your profession or certification. If you're an accountant, have certificates. So all of these things are still dealing with like academics and having certification. Then the next one is that you should have a salary or remuneration for services that shows exceptional abilities. Basically, this National Interest Waiver Program is a skilled worker program. You need to be skilled to qualify for this program. You need to show that you have a salary or remuneration that is high. Now, this is subjective because no figure was given, but I believe that in the judgment of the officer that is looking at your application, they would want to compare it like in dollar value. Like, okay, so maybe you're earning like 200K, like 200K, how much is that in dollars? So if it's not substantial or reasonable enough, it might not be indicative of that exceptional ability. So you want to ensure that you're earning something that is tangible enough to defend your position. Then you should also have evidence of membership in professional association. Say NBA for Nigerian Bar Association, for medical association, for ICANN, all those kind of things. So it's important that you are able to show valid membership of an association, professional association. Also, you should have evidence of recognition for achievements and significant contributions to the industry or field. So you should have received maybe awards recognition in newspaper, recognition in articles, by government agencies, by your professional organization, or even by your work organization. You should have at least a recognition or award somewhere. So all of these things, these 6 criteria that I've mentioned, if you have any 3 of those, you would be able to meet the requirements for this national interest waiver. So don't forget that it is either exceptional ability or advanced degree. Now, after you have met either of these criteria, that is either of exceptional ability or advanced degree, they call them 3-prong tests that you need to fulfill, that you need to meet to submit a good application for the national interest waiver program. And I'm also going to read them to you because I don't want to give you the wrong information, so I'm going to read them to you. So the first one is that you should be able to prove that the work you intend to do in the United States provides substantial merit and is of national importance. Provide substantial merit so much that the United States needs to set aside that labor certification requirement I mentioned earlier for them to give you this green card. So you can show that maybe you are engaged in a research that will be beneficial to the United States, being able to develop a method in accounting that makes revenue easier to calculate, that makes wastages easier to identify and reduce, things like that. Whatever it is that you want to show, you should also show that you are well qualified or well positioned to do your proposed work, and this you will be able to show with your work experience, with recognitions that you've received, with awards and all of that. So the third one is that on balance it would be beneficial to the United States to waive the job offer and thus the permanent labor certification requirements. That is, it will be of national interest and there are more benefits to the United States waiving aside those requirements in giving you that green card than actually going through the process of labor certification and employment. Let's talk about how you can apply for the national interest waiver program. You need to submit an I-140 application. I-140 is petition for alien workers. So you need to submit this form along with any documents. And guys, this is where you need to do the real work. Documents that prove your advanced degree and exceptional ability. Like, I've seen people submit like bundles, long list of things, like as many things as possible that you can gather. Certificates, professional membership, courses, even courses that you have taken outside your degree institution, everything that you can submit, recognition that somebody gave you everywhere. Like when it comes to this NIW, see, the onus is on you. And I would also recommend if you can use an immigration attorney to help you with this process. This is new to you. You don't want to make a mistake, because if you make a mistake, then you get denied, and you don't want that. So if you can get an immigration attorney, you can definitely do that and pay the immigration attorney. It's definitely worth it. But you yourself, the part of work that you need to do is in gathering your convincing evidence. If you remember, I said earlier that if you are able to submit a convincing application, now what defines convincing application is left to you. But I would say that when it comes to a convincing application, don't leave any stone unturned. Everything that you can think about. In fact, if you can take more things to add to your application, like if you can take new courses, if you can join your professional association or membership, submit everything. Letters that you have received from government, awards that you have received, proposals that you have written, business deals that you've concluded, that you've succeeded, everything that you've done professionally. Nothing is too small. Put everything together along with that I-140 form. That is what you'll be submitting for the National Interest Waiver Program. And if you get approved, you can apply for an adjustment of status. Some people usually do this together, like they will submit an I-140 and also submit the adjustment of status, but it is not usually recommended, because if you get denied for your I-140, that's the National Interest Waiver Program, your adjustment of status is also denied. So you want to do them one after the other. Submit the I-140 first. After approval, if there's visa interview number available, then you apply for your adjustment of status, and then you get your green card. With your green card, you can live, work permanently in the United States, and you're on your way to citizenship. I have seen people come from Nigeria based on this route to come live and work in the United States. So it is very possible. it is possible. People come directly with green card into the United States. It is still happening. This visa program, this route has not been cancelled. People are getting it from within the United States. Students, after going through college and probably no employer is willing to file for them, they're able to do this for themselves. It's just that the part where a lot of people give up is in part of proving this exceptional ability. But like I said, everything that you need to put together, don't leave any stone unturned. And if you can, try to get an immigration attorney. You can actually file for yourself. I've read about a lot of people that have done it for themselves. I'm only saying that if you know you are confused, you're overwhelmed, you don't understand, you like more clarity, then you can get an immigration attorney to put you through the process. But on your own side, ensure that you leave no stone unturned. Another thing you should know, however, if your application is denied, you have the room to appeal for a reconsideration, an appeal for your file to be reconsidered. So that is another option that you have. So don't be discouraged, but this is a very, very much sweet deal, because the process of getting the green card in the United States, sometimes when people come through other routes, it's usually a long process. But for this process, the importance is to prove exceptional ability and advanced degree. And for me, I don't think this is so much a big deal. So guys, what are you waiting for? Please don't sit on the bench, don't sit on the fence, especially if you're interested in coming to the United States. Ensure that you get ahead to submit your application. All right guys, so that's all I have to share with you today. If you have any questions about this visa program that I've discussed or any other thing like that, you can leave them in the comment section and I would respond to your questions. If you're yet to subscribe, please don't go away without hitting the subscribe button. The Spirit is ministering to you. You should listen and subscribe. Thank you so much guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.